Right, okay, your recent fight with Nick Lentz, you know, big disappointment for yourself, obviously
Yeah.
big disappointment for the fans and the way it went. It wasn't exactly the most entertaining fight to watch,
No.
you know, nothing to do with yourself. You know, it sparked somewhat of a debate about the effects of wrestling on the sport of mixed martial arts. You know, what was going through your head during the fight, and what have been your thoughts on it since?
Leading into the fight, I watched tape on Nick Lentz, and watched his previous fights, and he seemed quite active in the fight. So he threw a lot of kicks, a lot of right hands to set up the shoot. So he'd turn into southpaw, then go for the shoot. Most of the times he'd get stuffed and rise back up, but he seemed happy to let go and just keep working. So that's kind of assumed that's how he was going to be. But when he came in and he just shot in and he just pressed up against the cage for so long, and obviously I assumed he was going to go for the takedown, but I didn't expect him to try and stall out as long as he did. And after the first round I was like, but I thought he'd get a bit discouraged, seeing that the fight wasn't really going anywhere with it, and I thought the referee would have thought, well, he's stalling out a bit now really. I mean, the fight isn't going anywhere. So I thought the referee would have been a bit more active, and I thought Nick Lentz would have tried to make it more into a fight than what he did. I think he was content. I think probably going into the fight, he thought to himself, look, if I can't get it down to the ground or anything like that, he'd be content just to kind of stall out the fight. Obviously, I was very frustrated in the fight. Like I said, I expected him to wrestle, but I didn't expect him to employ the tactics that he did.
Okay, I mean, you've just mentioned the referee there. Where do you feel the responsibility lies to allow wrestlers to be a part of the sport, obviously, but also keep the enjoyment factor there for the fans?
The thing is, I don't think myself or anybody else has a problem with wrestlers. Wrestling's a massive part of MMA, and no one's got a problem. I mean, look at guys like Cain Velasquez, Randy Couture. There's so many great wrestlers, and they're all very exciting guys, and no one's got a problem with that. I mean, even guys like Brock Lesnar, like, he always has exciting fights and he wrestles well. So I think it's not so much about that wrestling, the sport itself, but the type of fighter that employs their wrestling just to kind of like lay in prey and just kind of stall out fights, and makes it very boring for the fans, and yeah, just makes very boring fights. So I think it's more those type of fighters that will ruin the sport rather than wrestling itself. But yeah, I think the some responsibility obviously lies with the fighters, because they're the ones using those tactics, and obviously the referee. I think after a while, you know what I mean, especially with my fight, after the first round, seeing the way it was going, you think, alright, well, I've got the gist of the first round, wasted 5 minutes on the cage, let's not try and do the same again in the second round. So obviously you want the referee to either give them a warning or just break them up and just let the action continue.
Okay. What have you been working on since the fight to make yourself a more well-rounded mixed martial artist? Have you been working a lot on your wrestling since then?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm always trying to improve myself as a fighter. Like I say, MMA, you can't be just one-dimensional, even though most people know me just for being a striker. You know what I mean? Obviously, I work on my jiu-jitsu, I work on my wrestling, and even though obviously you can't please everybody, you get some fans that want to criticize me about my wrestling and things like that, but I think I don't think it was so much was my wrestling, my takedown D that let me down in the fight. I think it was just my ring craft let me down in the fight. Things like getting my back off the fence and not taking the centre of the cage a bit more, you know, like using my footwork side to side, not allowing him to set up the shot, things like that, simple things that I would normally do but I kind of neglected in the fight. And obviously I've been working, like I said, on my wrestling. The next fight I got coming up is against a striker, so I'm working on my striking a lot as well. But obviously, trying to just improve myself as an all-rounded mixed martial artist.
Okay, you just mentioned your next fight. It appears it's going to be Dennis Siver at UFC 122 on November 13th.
Yeah.
I mean, you've obviously been thrown back into the mix very, very quickly.
Yeah,
almost seems like a little bit of an apology from the UFC for giving or putting on such a detrimental fight to you, where you were in there against someone that was sort of holding you for 15 minutes. I mean, what's your take on it, and how come you've got the fight so quickly?
After the fight, straight away, obviously I was unhappy with the fight, and I just wanted to get straight back in there and just kind of like, I want to go back in there, show the fans what I can do, and give the fans something. You know what I mean? I got a lot of support, even coming out from the Nick Lentz fight. A lot of guys in the crowd were giving me a lot of support, and you know what I mean? I think the general feeling of it was that obviously Mr. Lentz kind of ruined the fight. So I got a lot of support from it, and I just wanted to get back in there for the fans, for the UFC, and for myself. Just go back out there and have an exciting fight.
Okay, I mean, your teammate Ross Pearson recently went the distance with Dennis Siver. I mean, what can you take from that fight when you're preparing to face the German?
My teammate Jim Wall had also fought him a few years ago, so there's a couple of guys that I know that have fought him. Even though he's primarily a kickboxer, I've not neglected that he has got a ground game, and I think at some point he might even try and take me down. Who knows, I might even try to take him down, but I'm just looking forward to making an exciting fight. I'll definitely be speaking to Ross when I see him next to see what tactics he's got. I've already got kind of a rough game plan in mind, what I'm working with, and my team's already had a look at him and everything, so you know what I mean, I kind of know what to expect.
Is there any extra motivation fighting him on his home soil, especially with him being probably Germany's most well-recognised mixed martial arts fighter?
At the minute I'd say no, but that all changes 2 days before you go out for the fight. I mean, I'm a pretty relaxed person, and then I'll get like nervous 4 days before, then I go back to being relaxed, then I'll get nervous, then I'll go back to being really relaxed. So my emotions go up and down a little bit, but I'm comfortable with that because I know that's how I am. But yeah, Dennis, he's probably the most recognised fighter coming out of Germany. And yeah, he's fighting on his home soil and everything, but it doesn't matter. When the cage door closes and the fight's on, it makes no difference.
Okay, have you set yourselves any long-term goals as far as what you want to achieve inside the octagon, maybe up until the end of next year, end of 2011?
I just want to continue winning. I've got a couple guys in mind that I'd like to fight. I won't say anyone at the minute.
Oh, come on.
I'd love to fight Cole Miller again. Well, not again, but I'd love to be matched up with him again. After him beating my teammate Ross Pearson. Hopefully all goes well in November against Dennis, and hopefully some point next year I get a match up with him, because you know, I mean, we were matched up originally, but he had to pull out due to injury, and I fought Oliveira, so I mean, it would be nice to get matched up with Miller again, and obviously just beating my teammate Ross Pearson gives me a little extra incentive to go out there and pull a win back for the Rough House.